On April 25th, 2024, I set off for Dublin from LAX for a 2-week stay in Ireland. I was making the journey to Ireland for a couple of reasons. First, I wanted to support Bruce Rogers, who was my good friend and colleague of 23 years at Mount San Antonio College. Bruce's chamber singers were going to be competing against choirs from all over the world in the city of Cork in Southern Ireland on May the 5th, and I really wanted to be there as this would be his last European competition since he was retiring in June. Secondly, I had seen hundreds of photos of the coast of Ireland over the past few years, and Ireland was pretty far up on the list of countries I wanted to shoot in. After changing planes in Washington, D.C., I arrived the next morning at 10 a.m. with barely any sleep, which made it even more terrifying to try to drive my rental car out of the Dublin airport car park.
Stay on the left. Stay on the left. Stay on the left, stay on the left, stay on the left, stay on the left. Here we go.
Head northeast. In 600 meters at airport roundabout, take the first exit.
Roundabout, first exit.
Head north toward Dublin Road, R132, then use any lane to turn slightly left onto Dublin Road. In 500 meters, at Cloran Roundabout, take the fourth exit and stay on Dublin Road, R132.
Driving on the left wasn't so hard after you got used to it, but it was all of the other things that made it nerve-wracking. Not only was the steering wheel on the wrong side, but you had to look in the opposite direction to see the rear view mirror and to check for oncoming traffic. I hate to admit it, but I walked up to the passenger side to get in the car at least 20 times before I began to remember that the driver gets in on the right side of the car. About 3 hours after taking off from Dublin Airport, I was pulling into the driveway of my Airbnb, which was very close to Bushmills, and only a few miles from Dunluce Castle and the Giants Causeway. After unloading my luggage, I set off to begin exploring the coast. My first stop, since I was so close, was the Giants Causeway. Normally, the parking lot would be packed and you would need a reservation, but since I arrived just before sunset and it looked like everyone else was gone, I parked in the main lot after seeing another photographer unloading his gear. It seemed strange that there were only 2 or 3 other cars in the huge parking lot at sunset, but this was still April and it seemed that the main tourist season wasn't really underway yet. The Giants Causeway is an area of about 40,000 interlocking basalt columns which are the result of an ancient volcanic fissure eruption. It is located in County Antrim on the coast of Northern Ireland, about 3 miles northeast of the town of Bushmills. It took about 20 minutes or so to hike down from the main parking lot. Since the light wasn't doing anything particularly interesting, I used my time to just scout the area looking for potential shots. Someone was doing a wedding shoot and his drone kept dive bombing us out on the main area of basalt columns. And it just struck me that I probably wouldn't want to be down there during the peak tourist season with hundreds of people posing for selfies. Even in late April, trying to get down there and having the area all to yourself seemed impossible. Without an interesting sky to work with and not wanting to deal with crazy wedding photographers, I gave up after an hour or so and headed back to my Airbnb to get some badly needed sleep.
These birds are going crazy. So far, I'm the only person here. Look at these trees. I'm gonna have to try this without trying to carry my tripod at the same time. These are amazing. Look at them. Starting to pick up some glow this morning. But look at them. I wonder how old these are.
I think I may have missed the best days of the Dark Hedges after quite a few trees came down in huge storms in 2021 and 2024. In spite of the gaps that were left behind, this tree-covered road is still pretty amazing, and I wasted no time in taking out the 100 to 400 for some telephoto shots. If you're thinking about making a trip to the Dark Hedges, you might consider leaving early in the morning to give yourself a chance at having the place all to yourself. Since Dunluce Castle was just a couple of miles from my Airbnb, I made multiple trips at sunset while I was there, trying to get the castle and the surrounding area with different conditions. On cloudy nights, it was still impressive, but when the sun broke through, it was just spectacular.
Just arrived at the Fanad Lighthouse. Just gonna walk out here a bit to shoot, and right over here just sheep just kind of hanging out. It's 6:30-ish, and the sun's already kind of shifting past the orange, so can't shoot towards the lighthouse anymore. It's a bright sun, but the rest of this area is just stunning. Stay to the left. Stay to the left. I'm gonna duck in here, maybe take a nap for a second. Such a beautiful area.
After a spectacular morning of shooting the Fanad Head Lighthouse, I explored the area around Fanad Head and County Donegal on my way back. I was feeling pretty trashed at this point, and I wasn't planning on making any stops, but after turning a corner, I caught a glimpse of Kinny Lough, a small lake just off to my right, and I slammed on the brakes. Between the clouds and the mirror-like reflection, I just had to stop to get the drone in the air. At least half of the time I was in Ireland, it was raining. While it was raining, I was usually heading to the market to do some shopping or just scouting for spots to return to once the rain lifted. One of the spots I headed to in the rain was White Rocks Beach, which was just north of Dunluce Castle. The whole area had incredible potential, and I made a mental note to come back if and when the weather ever cleared.
Coming through Bushmills again. I still don't know where the distillery is. Traffic, but more cars in the parking lot.
The weather finally cleared on May the 1st, and I headed off on my first major hike. Rather than join the hundreds of people swarming the Giants Causeway down below, I opted instead for the North Antrim Cliff Path, which followed the coast for roughly 5 miles up to Dunluce Castle. I would highly recommend this path as the views are both astounding and terrifying, depending on how close to the edge you allow yourself to get. For Ballintoy. A little bit behind. I keep misjudging the amount of daylight I'm going to need, which kind of sucks. But oh well. Okay, see the left. Hoping the rain holds off and I get this gap that's in front of me. I don't know exactly what angle. There's a nice gap to the north. I made 2 trips down to Ballintoy Harbour during my stay, and even though I had some decent light to work with, I'm really hoping to return during high tide and maybe even after a big storm, as I would love to shoot this area with some waves crashing against the amazing sea stacks. This was definitely a gorgeous location, and I can't wait to try this area again in the future. From Malin Head to try and find some light. It's going to break up behind here, but I'm not sure if it'll break up close enough to Ballintoy.
In a quarter mile, turn right onto Benbarden Road, B67.
So I want to go somewhere where there's more clouds and sun, and it seems like it's that way off to the west. I also made 2 trips to Malin Head while I was there. Malin Head was definitely more of a time commitment. It would normally take around an hour and a half to cover the 70 miles from Bushmills, but they were doing construction on the highway and traffic was rerouted through the surrounding villages. It also didn't help that Google tried to get me to take a ferry, which was already done for the day. But the beautiful drive through the Irish countryside definitely helped me to pass the time. Do you need help?
No, damn. It's just now f***ing car crashing.
Alright, I'll go right up here.
Yeah, come on.
Drunk off your ass and it's 8 o'clock. You got started early. On my first attempt to shoot at Malin Head, I arrived much later than I would have preferred and discovered that I had driven to the wrong location. Even though the light was spectacular, I was missing the large sea stacks that had come all this way to shoot. I eventually found my location, but the light was gone for the day by the time I arrived.
I'm not even sure if I'm supposed to be here or not, but this light is so fantastic. Look at these rocks. I just want a shot of the coast, and then I'm gonna try to just race to the top.